Hey guys, so for today we're going to be redoing the frog terrarium pretty much because it's gotten a bit overgrown and I kind of just want a new look as well. So when I first set up the frog terrarium, I did put some plants in that weren't going to be long-term plants because they were species that did get kind of big. That's fine. The plan was to just have them in there temporarily, and once they got too big for the terrarium, I'd take them out, pot them up and just have them as a houseplant of some sort or another because I have a lot of houseplants anyways. So yeah, that day has come. I've taken them out. I'm going to pot them up. We're going to redo the terrarium with all new plants and pretty much start over again. So the two plants that were in the terrarium that I've taken out are the split leaf philodendron, which has gotten kind of huge now. So I'm just going to pot it up and it can just join the rest of my houseplants throughout my apartment. Same as the dwarf umbrella tree, which was the other one that was in there that I've taken out. It was in there quite a while. It was growing really rapidly, so I used to always prune it back. I'd always take cuttings and propagate it. FYI, anyone wondering how to propagate a dwarf umbrella tree, I recently did a video on the propagation and the care of umbrella trees in general, including the dwarf. You want to just click that link on the top of the screen to view that one if you're interested. As for the terrarium, it's basically empty now. All that's left in there is some neon pothos. That's going to stay in there. Other than that, it's basically empty, so we're going to redo it. So as for the plants that I'm going to be putting back into this terrarium, I have got some more of the neon pothos because I really like this one. And I just want to add to the small amount I've got in there. I wanted it to be a bit bushier. The neon pothos started to grow a bit slower once the philodendron and umbrella tree kind of took over because they would shadow everything, so the pothos grew kind of slowly, which is not usual for pothos. They're usually quite fast growing, so yeah, I want to just add to it by adding a bit more of this. The other type of climbing plant which I want to have in there is this one here. So this is a climbing fig. So it's only got quite small leaves compared to a pothos, but it is quite a fast growing climber as well. So I plan on hopefully having this growing up the driftwood. We'll just pop it in and see what happens, I guess. And lastly, I've got this plant here. So this is a philodendron Xanadu. Now these do get big like the split leaf philodendrons. So this is again going to be something I'm going to be trimming back and splitting and propagating and all that sort of stuff when it does start to get a bit big, and eventually it will just come out of the terrarium and become a houseplant and I'll replace it with something else. See, that's kind of the issue because the red-eye tree frog especially, not so much the green, mainly the red-eye, likes to sit on leaves over the driftwood, and you need leaves that are big enough to hold him and support his weight. Most plants that can provide that sort of thing for him to sit on eventually are going to get big as well, so they're usually temporary things. But hey, look, I've got houseplants everywhere. Plants are just kind of my thing. I got probably more plants than animals, to be honest, so I don't mind replacing them every 6 months to every year and just potting them up and they joining my collection of plants rather than staying in there and overgrowing and looking horrible. So yeah, fine by me. Well, that's enough of me chit-chatting about it. Let's get started. Well, that's pretty much that. All it's left to do is pop the two frogs back in, which I'm going to do right now. Now, when you have to handle your frogs, and I use the word have to because you don't want to handle them unless you have to, because frogs breathe through their skin and their skin's very absorbent and they can dry out and lose moisture through their skin from handling quite easily. which is detrimental to their health and can potentially kill them. So when you have to handle them, make sure your hands are extremely clean and very wet. So you want wet hands when you're holding them, so you don't dry them out because the oils in your skin draw moisture out of theirs. Or ideally just wear disposable gloves like I'm doing, mainly because I've just been doing a lot of plant potting and I've been touching soil and all sorts of stuff. And even if I wash my hands really, really well, there's never a guarantee that they're going to be 100% clean from what I've just been doing. So I've just got gloves on to be safe, but ideally at least have your hands as clean as possible. So that's the terrarium all done and dusted, replanted. I'll keep you updated on how the growth goes throughout the next few months or so. It's going to be spring soon, so I'll expect some pretty decent growth once spring hits. So I'll keep you updated there. I also saved a little piece of this neon pothos, so I want to pop this one up and eventually get it growing up a moss pole or something like that. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, leave a like. Instagram's down below if you want to follow me there. Don't forget to ding that notification bell so you guys get an update every time I upload a new video. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until then, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.